Okay, so here we go. We're going to let the robot be created as a military project. And the military has it built, and now they're getting ready to see how it's really going to work. And they have a civilian, kind, peaceful, helpful version that they have made for civilian use. And it was put together to work through or help people in a wilderness setting, to help to guide them and to tell them about the wilderness and to help them not to make wilderness related mistakes like getting off of the trail or climbing on something they shouldn't be on, etc. And this is in land of wilderness, trees, and forest. And so the designation they gave for this robot is that this particular version is the forest robot. So here we have the forest robot. And they have made the plan to introduce the forest robot into a group of people unsuspecting who are in a wilderness environment. And so they have looked at a tourist type situation where people go on a kind of a wilderness adventure up into the mountains and the forest in a exciting and exotic new land that's undeveloped. And we will bring in a tourist, a female from America, who is just taking some time off to wander in the wilderness setting in an exotic, strange, undeveloped wilderness setting, just to have some fun and get away from the humdrum and the craziness of her high-pressure, busy, city-based, ultra-technological life. And unknown to her, at least she didn't pay much attention to it, and the military either forgot about it or just decided it wasn't going to be an issue. They have this tourist event occurring in some of the nations where there's an ongoing internal rebellion type activity where local people are trying to bring their government to a different type of government, and they're in a guerrilla type rebel people versus people internal to the country type of struggle. And this struggle is going to wash over and envelop this group of people who are tourists, and soon we will have our female and the forest robot noticing or suddenly being in a situation where they are soon to be under the control of the rebel group who has a history of not really treating people very well. And so the robot is going to work to try to get this girl out of this situation using his forest robot skills, as tempered from the also true statement that he does have some military type skills. And from a economic viewpoint, I'm always on the lookout for a way to do this where there's not a lot of money involved, because funds are not high. And so let's go out onto the internet and see if we can construct what this scene is going to look like. And at this point, we will say goodbye to the robot, bye-bye, and we're going to go to a different scene. And so here we go. I've always enjoyed Getty Images, and this is the Getty image of this person sitting in a tree in a forest. And it's all sorts of things that you can use to create your imagery. Let's look at some forest scenes. And what does Getty Images have for us if we just are looking around at forest imagery? And it goes on and on and on. And now, this is starting to look like perhaps the intrepid heroes lost in the forest, although there's two of them, so that's not going to work. This is not bad. It's not quite what we're looking for. We see this image. It has that brooding forest trees quality to it that would serve as a scene for the backdrop of our story that we're going to tell about the robot. And I'll just show you some other images that I picked just looking around in Getty Images. So here we go. This is I think is a pretty mysterious and cool and sort of fun image of a forest scene that we might be able to use for our story. And here's another one. It's the water and the rocky mountain stream with the undeveloped forest around it. Here's another mysterious water and rocks and dense trees and a blank and empty forest scene. And at this point, we've gone through how we can put together imagery in our story of the forest. And now we're going to work a little bit on the other person in the story. The robot is in the story, but we have to have the other person in the story, which will be the female tourist that he's going to try to help to get away from the rebel group, which is trying to capture them and may not be a completely good experience if they happen to be captives and hostages in the hands of the rebels.